You check your phone the second you wake up, not to see the time, to see where you stand, a follower count, a job title, a neighborhood. You think this is new? It is not. 2,000 years ago, a farmer in the Yellow River Valley woke up already knowing exactly where he stood. No app, no scroll, just a number burned into the structure of the world around him. And the strange part is this: the system that ranked him was supposed to be about fairness. It became one of the most rigid social machines humanity ever built. Here is what almost nobody outside China actually understands about how this worked. It was not random. It was not even really about money. It was about a single question: what do you produce? And the answer to that question decided everything else about your life. Let's go to the very top. The emperor sat alone, not just powerful, cosmically positioned. Confucian philosophy, formalized by scholars like Dong Zhongshu during the Han Dynasty, framed the emperor as the link between heaven and earth itself. He was called the Son of Heaven, not a king ruling by force, a man ruling by mandate, the mandate of heaven. Here's the twist almost nobody expects. That mandate could be lost. If floods came, if famine spread, if the harvest failed 3 years running, people did not just blame bad luck. They blamed the emperor. They said heaven was angry. Dynasties fell because of this idea. An emperor who governed badly was, in the worldview of the time, no longer a true emperor at all. Think about that for a second. A position so absolute, it controlled the lives of hundreds of millions of people, and yet it rested on something as fragile as the next rainfall. This is why Chinese court records are full of emperors performing elaborate rituals at harvest time, personally plowing a ceremonial field, personally praying for rain during droughts. Not because any single emperor believed his own muscles would summon a storm, because the entire legitimacy of his rule depended on being seen as connected to the natural order. Lose that connection in the eyes of the people, and you did not just lose popularity. You lost the right to exist as emperor at all. So already, before we even reach the rest of the hierarchy, you can see something important. This was not simply a chain of command. It was a belief system with a chain of command built on top of it. Everyone below the emperor inherited a small piece of that same logic. Your position was not just about what you owned or what job you held. It was about whether you were seen as fulfilling your assigned role correctly within a much larger cosmic pattern. Below the emperor sat the nobility and the bureaucracy. And this is where the system gets genuinely strange, because it tried to solve a problem most ancient civilizations never even attempted to solve. How do you stop power from just getting inherited by whoever was born into the right family? The answer was the Imperial examination system, formalized during the Sui and Tang dynasties and expanded dramatically under the Song. A test, an actual written test on Confucian classics, open in theory to almost any man regardless of birth. Pass it, and a peasant's son could become a magistrate, could sit in rooms with men whose grandfathers had ruled provinces. Historian Benjamin Ellman, who has written extensively on the examination system, describes it as one of the most sophisticated meritocratic mechanisms in pre-modern history. Not perfect, not actually open to everyone. Wealthy families could afford tutors. Poor families needed every son working the fields. But compare that to most of the ancient world, where your father's blood was simply your ceiling. China built a crack in that ceiling 1,000 years before most civilizations even considered it. Did it work the way it promised? Not entirely, but it changed what power meant. Power became something you could, in theory, study your way into. And the exam itself was brutal in a way that's hard to picture today. Candidates sat for days inside tiny stone cells, copying and analyzing classical texts from memory. sometimes collapsing from exhaustion before finishing. Families would spend their entire savings funding one promising son through years of preparation, betting everything on a single test result that might not come until his 30s or 40s. Some men attempted the exams their whole lives and never passed. Others became national heroes overnight. There was no system quite like it anywhere else in the ancient world. A single piece of paper capable of rewriting a family's destiny for generations. Now here is where the hierarchy reveals its real values. Right below the scholars and officials came something almost nobody guesses. Farmers, not soldiers, not merchants. Farmers. In a worldview shaped by Confucian and agrarian ideology, the farmer held second place in what's known as the Four Occupations, or Si Min. Scholars first, farmers second.